Have a good slug of that, Barkers. Cheers, Mariel. Lemon in the bottom. Oh, lemon to your lemon. I've cut it, I didn't put it in. Less.
So last week, Dad and I sat behind here and he talked all about India and the early days from his memory and things like that. I think I'd love to pick up from when you came back from India and kind of just talk about what that was like growing up as an identical twin from coming back from India in what, 1960?
1960. 60.
We were there for the. We were back in England for the bad winter, which was 62. I think.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I say 60. He says 62. So it's fine. We're somewhere in the middle of that. Yeah. So
Yeah.
I mean,
don't ask Hamish.
so I don't think our parents were allowed to bring any money back. I think it was all frozen in India, a bit like South Africa when the people came back from there. They had to leave everything there, so they all came back penniless. So we ended up at Braunton School, didn't we?
Yeah. Camping
for a year in a tent
At school?
at the primary school. So they allowed us to pitch a tent up. So we had a sleeping tent and a cooking tent, and we lived there for. It was a good year, wasn't it? Before we moved.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that would have been.
I remember my dad driving off in the Mini.
Yes, right.
When Minis first came out, he was 25 stone and 6'4", and you saw it going down the road, and it was like on two wheels. A picture of this, the airbags going off inside the car.
Brilliant.
That is amazing.
Yeah.
And you said like you were speaking Hindu mainly out in India. So
Because of our ayahs, like I was saying, our nannies, we were with them most of the time. So we did Urdu and Hindu, wouldn't it? Yeah.
And we had our own little
yeah.
language as well.
And coming back to England then, how did you
We knew English, but it was a bit difficult, so we tended to speak between ourselves in Hindu and Urdu, and then the teacher spoke to us and we spoke to them in English.
But Dad used to also, on top of all that, used to speak a version of Gurkhali, which is Gurkha's
special language. Yeah. Well, we started smoking, didn't we, when we were at Braunton?
6 years old.
Pogel used to send us off. She had an account at the local shop. She used to smoke menthol cigarettes, Solent then, and they were the cheap sort of number 6 menthol cigarettes. So we used to buy 10 for her and 10 for ourselves, and we used to go up to the old ruins, didn't we? Yeah. And fire a couple up. We were only 7.
Oh my God!
I know. Yeah. And then she found out that we were doing it. So
she found out because of she'd forgot to put the cigarettes on the shopping list for us to pick up, and of course she came down and rang the shopkeeper and said, I've forgotten to put cigarettes on the shopping list. She said, "Oh, don't worry, your boys have picked them up already." And that was the end of that.
Yeah, it was 62, 63 winter. We were at Georgeham School, which was a junior primary school, tiny little primary school up in the back of
the hills.
And we used to come home on a double-decker bus, and the snow was so bad. I mean, it really was deep. I mean, I've got photographs of the snow, which is as high as the window. So we say 20, 30 foot high snow, and cars, people walking through because those snowplows had gone through. And the sea froze over at Croyd.
Yeah, and there's a picture somewhere of Mum ice skating across the bay.
Oh wow!
In Croyd,
yeah, I can't find it.
Oh, that is amazing.
Yeah, and then we were coming back on that bus, and I think we were at the Sea Breeze then, which was down the straight going towards
Schooner or
down in, wasn't it? And we were ticking along quite happily on the top deck, and all of a sudden, bang, on the roof of the bus. I thought, what the hell was that? And it was somebody had shot a goose quite a long way away. It was a pinkfoot, and it was still travelling, obviously, and it only wounded it, and it hit the top of the bus, and then it kind of disappeared to the right into the field opposite the row of houses. So we got off on the next stop and ran back. We were in shorts as well, weren't we? Ran through the snow and got this goose, and it was massive, it was, and we trailed it all the way back home and gave it to Dad, and he kind of patted us on the head and said, "Well done," and we had it for Christmas.
We hung it up in the larder and we had it for Christmas.
Yeah, hung it up and had it for Christmas.
Bit of roadkill, lovely.
And we caught fire. We were catching fire with a hayrick.
Hayrick.
Peter Hartnell.
Peter Hartnell, yeah, the swimming pool.
We were smoking a cigarette in a hayrick, massive hayrick, and it caught fire to it.
The cigarette dropped down between two bales and you couldn't get to it, and suddenly the smoke started pouring up. And we were across the field.
We ran for it.
Peter
Luckily, his dad was the farmer and he owned it.
It charged us a £5 each.
Yeah, it was right.
Oh
£5 each.
my gosh. That's primary school. So I suppose secondary school, a lot more fun, a lot more memories, I imagine.
It was much more grown up for us really, because we were sort of we hadn't learnt anything in India, so we were 6-7 years old and going to school, so we were really classed as thick. I mean, we were just literally so behind language and everything really, and couldn't count and all that. By the time we got to secondary school, it was good fun. We were probably 12, 13, I suppose. Secondary school. We went to Marchwood Park first.
Prep school.
So Dad and Mum split up in '64, and this rich gentleman came along called Charles Moncrief Thompson, who was very posh, and we didn't like him at all, and he was very jealous, and
Of you two?
Terribly jealous of us too. Yeah.
Because you're her boys.
Yes, I know. Yeah. So we were sent off. He paid for it, and we were sent off to boarding school.
His choice.
His choice.
I didn't know that.
Well, his her mum's obviously.
Yeah.
But she thought education great, go to prep school.
Yeah, of course.
So we went off to Southampton to prep school as boarders, and that was the first time I felt Jez's pain. Do you remember you were in the changing rooms, which was probably about a couple of 100 yards away from where I was, and he was being beaten up by some kids, and I knew something was wrong, and I ran. And
yeah, because you've got a few instances of that kind of twin power, what you talk about, where you felt each other's pain.
But then Florida, do you remember Florida? Jez was in Dubai working, and I was in Florida. This is later on in our lives.
Yeah.
And I was on the beach at Fort Lauderdale, and I was trying to body surf, and the waves were enormous. Nobody was supposed to be allowed in the sea. And I got dumped on this massive wave, and it knocked me out and basically spat me up on the beach. I was okay. I was out unconscious for a little bit, only minutes. And so I headed home. And when I got home to where I was staying, there was a note from the owner of the house saying that your brother's called and you've had a nasty accident. Could you get in contact with him?
Oh,
That was Dubai.
So the guy from the Great Western Motors with a phone line to you, and another phone line to me out in Dubai. So
like telepathy, isn't it?
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
yeah, but the dream was from my side wasn't on the beach. It went under a rock, a big rock, and didn't come out the other side.
It was something like that. It was in the middle of the wave. Yeah.
You almost dream it,
Yeah.
and then he was feeling it at that time.
Yeah.
That's just crazy, isn't it?
Well, the
Freeman?
night remorse and the.
No. The Reliant Robin.
Oh yeah, put it up on the
That was at secondary
the
school.
roof of the metal workshop there.
So there was about 10 of us, and we lifted it up. It was quite light, and it was only a porter cabin, and we put it on top of the roof, and the guy reported it stolen. The teacher did.
It was the end of term.
End of term, and then we got the bus, and you caught the bus down the road, and it went back past the school. So he was up on the top deck of the bus with us, and he was like, "Somebody's stolen my Reliant," and he looked out, and my God, there's my car. On top of the woodwork roof.
We had this confirmed recently with the 1970.
Yeah, a group of people got back together again.
Oh yeah, of course.
And you remember Coggins shooting me? So this guy, religious instruction, I always call it a religious institution, but and it came in break time, and he had a 177 air rifle, and the coat racks, and he'd hid it behind the coat racks. And when the teacher went for halfway through the lesson, he got the gun out and he said to me, "Run." So I ran, and I was weaving like that, as you do, and he shot me in the right shoulder. And so I went back and gave him a bit of a beating and put him upside down in a wastepaper basket, and I got the cane for it because I was bullying him.
Oh, we often got
shot
cane. At prep school, we used to have to take it in turns. We got it.
And then he got fed up and used to, if either of us did anything wrong, he'd take us both in and cane us.
And because I suppose at that time, could people tell the difference?
No way.
Like for me now, it's
Even Mum made mistakes.
Yeah.
I might be Jez.
Yeah.
We got Mum in the shoulder button one night.
Swap sweaters, didn't we?
Swap sweaters, and she was She was positive that Simon was me. Went to the toilet and came back with a different jumper on.
That is amazing. And that reminds me, I really want to talk about those kind of years in, you know, sonning and the Bullets sonning and those days. And I mean, you're still friends now with the people you met.
Yeah, with Chris and Pauline.
My godfather, yeah.
Yeah. We were 13, weren't we?
14 and a half when we first started going to.
Was that 14 and a half? Was it? I thought it was before that. Anyway,
enough.
we had a pint of beer was 1 shilling, so nowadays it would be 5p. Yeah, and I was going out with Paula
run out.
Yeah.
I was going out with the landlady's daughter, and
Paula, wasn't it?
yeah, Paula Catton, yeah. And on our 16th birthday, we decided to have a party, and then somebody let it out that we were 16. So we'd been there 2 or 3 years, and he banned us, and we left, and we had to go somewhere else.
To the White Hart, the other bar.
It's amazing when you go back that far, you know, like 50, 60 years, 50 years, 55 years. We're still friends with quite a lot of people. Chris and Pauline were like parents to us, so they were fantastic. And they taught us to water ski and everything.
Remember that time when we'd been skiing and been water skiing, and we came back up to the Bull, and Rod Turner's fiance, who we'd never met before, came in, and Chris and Pauline were with us. Came in, and Elizabeth turned around to me and said, "Have you got a sister called Penny?"
Oh yeah.
And I said, "Yeah, we have, yeah." And she said, "Oh, we used to live next door to you in India."
Oh my God.
And that was the people who had the Black Panther in the previous episode.
What happened was excuse me because of the old Parkinson's sort of stall, and she turned around and said, "Whatever happened to the tigers that you had?" Three cubs called Jeremy, Simon and Hamish.
Yeah, you were right. You did say I'm not sure, but I think she named them after us.
And I said, I think they went to Amsterdam or Brussels Zoo, I'm not sure. Anyway, I said, what happened to the Black Panther? And she said, I don't know, we left before that.
Oh, wow.
And Pauline's listening to all this. She says, what's this about Black Panthers and tigers and things in India like this? And, you never told us that. I said, well, would you have believed me if I'd have turned around and said, well, we had 3 tigers and the next one over had a Black Panther?
Yeah. They seem perfectly normal to us.
Yeah.
You know, when you talk to people of our age and older, it's quite normal, because that's the kind of things that happen.
Mum used to look after me, used to come in, and she had this huge pen made up. When they're about 2 years old, once they get over 2, they're very difficult to actually control them. So.
Yeah. Got rid of them before they got rid of you, basically.
Chompy.
And then I want to talk, so a bit later on now, because I have such fond memories, and you still do it now, about mix-ups between you two, whether it's on purpose or not. And some of the stories, like the Glider Club days for me, like every time, and just how if that still happens, and some memories you have.
It hasn't for quite a while, I don't think, but yeah, we used to love it. It was just great fun. But Jez, because Jez lives somewhere else from me, so I'd go down to his place and he'd send me in the butchers or something. It was only like last year, wasn't it? Send me in the butchers, and stuff like that. And
French used to get really upset about it.
Yeah, I remember at the Glider Club.
Is that the French? Yeah. They used to freak them out a bit. Yeah.
And girls, did you ever do it with girls?
All the time.
Of course not.
All the time. But we found out later in our lives, I mean, going up to California and stuff like that, that we thought we were being very clever, and actually it turned out that they knew what was going on, and they just wanted to know if there was any difference between the two of us. But,
Brilliant.
We didn't mind. I think we're individual.
Yeah,
definitely individual, and we were very quite in our earlier days. We were very competitive. One wanted to be better than the other one as well, faster.
I had a shorter leg, so it didn't come in certain skiing accidents.
Yeah. So, yeah,
go around in circles.
Yeah. Although we always, even now, we speak to each other every day. We have done all our lives, unless Jez is obviously in Dubai and I'm in America or something like that. We probably cut it down to once a month or something. Well, we won't go into this later episode, but I mean, I'm not somewhere for very long without Jez coming over and seeing me and then staying with me, or vice versa.
Yeah.
Florida.
Yeah. Well, when I worked in Dubai and Oman, Jez had come back, and to get an NOC, a work permit in like the Arab Emirates, which is quite a serious place, you have to wait like 3 months. And then Paul rang me and said, "We need you over here." I said, "Well, I haven't got an NOC," and he said, "Well, what can you do?" I said, "Leave it with me," and I took Jez's passport and his NOC.
Oh wow!
He's done that recently.
If I'd have been caught,
only a couple of months ago.
what was that?
My CCS card.
Oh yeah, his work card for here. Mine had run out, so I used his.
Well, why not? You've got to use it to your advantage, right?
And do you remember getting your passport? Yeah. His passport photograph. This is when we were back in Ripple, and he wasn't around. Was he? Said, "Oh, can you just do the photograph?" So I had hair, and of course I combed the hair one way for myself, and then I combed the hair the other way for Jez, and the photograph looked awful. It really did. And I put it in the passport, and he went, "What the hell is that?"
You can see he's got.
There's like this comb over it, went like that. You know?
I'd just come back from a 2-year trip, going around the world, and then I was in Oz on the east coast, up in Cairns in North Queensland. Settled in quite nicely, and then I remember one Sunday afternoon we were all sort of sat around on the balcony of this house, which I was sharing with somebody, and then the phone went, and I said, "That'll be my brother."
Yeah, it still happens now.
And I picked up the phone, and he's just gone like this, as if he heard something that wasn't true. But that was just Simon telling me that Mum had cancer and it had come back.
Wow, and you knew he was going to call. And there's that kind of...
Still do it now. I know.
That'll be Jez. I hear you say that.
Well, leaving school, I've got a job in a turkey farm in Twyford, do that. Yeah. And thousands of turkeys. It's coming up Christmas time, and I was left to look after these turkeys. I was only 16 or something, and a helicopter went over, and then all these turkeys committed suicide. Literally just flew into the fence and strangled themselves. So that wasn't a very good Christmas for the turkey farm. But I was sacked. So that's when I went past Army Careers Office in Reading on a Saturday morning by the Butt Centre, and went past, and it's Army written, and I went in and joined up.
Yeah.
Joined up to the army.
And then you went travelling Europe.
Well, then I tried to buy him out of the rest of the story was that Charles, Super Charles.
Super lovely Charles.
Mr. Dickhead. I mean, I had to raise 250 quid to buy him out after 6 weeks or something it was.
Yeah, it was a long time, yeah.
And I raised the money to get him out. And Charles put a block on it. He said to give him a bit longer, which he did.
In those days, the initial training, when you were 16, just 17, was horrendous. 27 went in for the training, and 7 of us made it. Yeah, only 7. And then, of course, the army days is later. But
yeah. And then no matter which way you go, you always kind of end up back in, don't you? I mean, you two are inseparable.
Yeah, well, you did the failure trail first, didn't you? You did Europe with the Aussies, yeah.
The Aussies and Yarpies. And I must have been 20, 21. Well,
that was when I come out of the army then.
It must have been. We were in a bull when you turned up in the Army Land Rover on.
Oh my goodness! Yeah. We were on manoeuvres in Southend, and I was in a Land Rover, and I was in an ops Land Rover, like a signals Land Rover, and I decided to turn right, and I decided I wanted to come home, so I drove all the way from Southend to the Bull at Sonning, and I turned up, and I didn't realise that the back of my Land Rover was full of rifles and ammunition as well. So we had a couple of drinks with the boys, and had to drive back.
Wow.
I think I must have seen Mum, and then I drove back to Southend, and they arrested me and put me in prison. It wasn't too bad. It was like a guardhouse prison. I got a week in prison. Stockade.
Detention for the army.
They call it Jankers, yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Do you think, are there any, we're nearly finished, any unique challenges or advantages that you find from being a twin? So either way, something that's really difficult or something that's a great advantage.
To stepfather, we just sort of took in our stride in a way.
Yeah.
But then I fell out. I had enough of him. Ended up getting stabbed 3 times with a carbine fork by him. So.
Then you chucked him down the stairs. So.
And cracked his skull and broke this and broke that. I never saw him again.
Yeah.
So they went off in separate hospitals. They went off in separate, and ambulances, and then this is where Chris and Pauline, they're like parents to us.
Right, yeah.
And then Bogle rang Chris and said, look, can you help?
He's had a bit of a bust up.
A bit of a bust, bleeding like a pig. And then Chris and Pauline picked him up and took him home and looked after him, basically. And then Charles never came back. That was the end of it.
Good.
Yeah.
Hopefully your mum saw the light.
Never saw him again.
She wanted to go with him, but had a note on the door, my bedroom door, saying, "I'm beating up your mother. What are you going to do about it?"
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so Jez beat him up. So.
I was going to say, well, I'll show you what I'm going to do about it.
I was in the army. I was in the Longkesh riots. Well, I wasn't in the Longkesh riots. I was stopping the Longkesh riots, and they didn't tell me until I come back.
Oh, you didn't feel that pain then?
Didn't feel that pain. No,
You were too occupied.
no, too occupied.
Yeah.
Trying to stay alive.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so the closing question for you both. What do you think the biggest lesson is that you learn from being a twin, being an identical twin?
Drink lots.
Yeah. Well, we've had massive fun. I think really compared to normal brothers and sisters, we're always linked and together. No matter whether we're apart, we're still linked because we're identical, obviously. And I think from when we were in the womb, we were together, we were linked, and we still are now. I mean, 71 years old, and we're still love to party together.
We were breech. I mean, when I was breech, rather, Simon came out.
Yeah, 5 hours.
First 5 hours, and then I came out. Got a picture of the. I gave it to you, didn't I? The picture of Chabwa Hospital.
Yeah, the field hospital. Yeah.
Yeah, amazing.
But I was actually born on the veranda. They wheeled the bed out, and halfway between the two berths, there was a cow looking over the bed.
Bogle hated cows.
They're holy, but she hated cows from that onwards.
Oh, I'm surprised. Oh, wow. I suppose if you have any closing words to say to me or to each other, that's all I wanted to ask, really. It's just, or any stories we've missed or anything you want to talk about, you just shout.
Love him to death.
No snogging in front of the camera. Love you, mate.
Get him in.
I love you both. Thank you so much for doing it.